Hi everyone. Hi Bailey, Valerie, Olive, Athena, Hendrix. You see these funny looking water balloons in front of you? Well, there's something special about them. And to give you a hint, I'm going to remind you of a movie that you've seen, probably quite a few times, and toys and games that are based on that movie. And you might also get a hint with the way I'm dressed. The movie, of course, is Frozen. Now, you may not think so, but what's in these balloons is frozen. I filled these balloons with water yesterday and put them in a freezer overnight. Now, this morning, Granny took one of those balloons and took the balloon off what's inside, and of course what's inside is water that has frozen. Now, one thing about them is when they're cold like this, that the outside gets cloudy because water vapor in the air condenses on them. But if you can get a look inside here, it doesn't look all solid. It looks like there's some kind of funny patterns to the way the water froze. Now, what part of the water? Now, here we have water in a balloon, and I'm going to take the balloons off of these pieces of ice too. But when you take a balloon full of water, you put it into the freezer, which part of the water do you think will freeze first? What's on the outside or what's in the middle? Well, what part of the water balloon is exposed to the cold air in the freezer? The outside, okay? So the outside freezes first. Now, do you remember what happens to water in terms of size when it freezes? Let me give you a hint. Remember the glass that I broke when I filled it full of water? Ah, yeah, you remember all right. And I was even reminded of that by one of you. So when water freezes, it expands, means it gets bigger. And if something gets out of the way, it can break. And that's what happened to that glass. Now the balloons don't break because they're flexible, they're elastic, and if the water inside expands, the balloon can expand, meaning get bigger with it. Okay? So the outside froze and expanded first and pulled away from the inside. And then the water, remember that water particles are like little magnets. They line them up certain ways and they make certain kinds of patterns. Now let's see if these other balloons, I'm going to take the balloons off the ice on these other ones. Let's see if we get the same effect. Now, I always keep thinking that the water is going to spill, but it's not going to spill because it's frozen. It's solid. It's ice. It's pretty cold on my hands though. Okay. Now we'll take that off, and we'll take this off. And my fingers are freezing. Okay. And we'll take a close look at that one as well. Same thing. You have this funny looking pattern on the inside. Well, we might as well do the rest of them. Same thing here. I don't know if this will be any different because this one's a little, I put more water in this one. So the balloon was bigger and it had more water in it. So now it has more ice in it. So we'll take, don't break anything. Aren't you glad I didn't just put the water in the bowl? Because if I'd broken the bowl, that would have made it a lot bigger mess. And look at the funny pattern we have here, too. Okay, because it didn't all freeze at the same time. Okay, one more. And then I'm going to have you do something. I'm going to give you a homework assignment. But first, let's take a look at the last of these balloons full of ice. And we're getting that same kind of a pattern again. Now some places the water is really clear. In other places, you see, where it got cloudy because some air spaces got in there. Now, here's your homework. Take a balloon, or more than one if you'd like. Take water with food coloring in it, nice and dark, and put that in the water. And then get the water into the balloon. And let that freeze overnight. And see if you get any kind of pretty patterns like this. Okay? Well, anyway, that's the best that I can show you now. So, we're going to let the temperature get back up into the 60s again. After all, it's the month of May. And since these are going to start to melt, I'm going to put them back in the bowl so that water doesn't run everywhere. And between now and the next time I see you, go ahead and do the experiment with the same thing I did, but with food coloring in the water. Let me know how it turned out. And in the meantime, bye-bye.